Hello, so this is The Laws of Spirit by Dan Millman.
Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. Come learn and grow with me. So today I'm actually going to be reading you the first chapter out of this book, The Laws of Spirit, A Tale of Transformation by Dan Millman. And this is one of my favorite books. It's an amazing book. And I'm actually going to read chapter by chapter and put them up so you guys can listen to the whole thing if you're interested. So here it goes. Preface. We cannot teach people anything. We can only help them discover it within themselves. And that is by Galileo Galilei. What are the most important principles for living you've learned? Some years ago, I asked myself this question. Since then, time and experience has provided answers and insights, leading to the law of spirit. The laws of spirits belong to each of us. They are found within our hearts and lie at the heart of every religion, culture, and moral system. One method I use to access these universal laws is to ask, if I met my higher self in the mountains, in the form of a wise being, what would that being teach me? This question taps the wellspring of wisdom within us all. All journeys are true, but not all are factual. In the laws of spirit, I present spiritual laws for life through a series of conversations and experiences with a fictional sage. A woman of extraordinary grace and understanding who teaches through vivid imaginary from the natural world. Unlike my previous full-length adventures, this book more closely resembles a parable than a novel. The archetypical figure of the mountain sage gives these simple yet powerful truths their own visceral and emotional reality. As the sage guides me along mountain paths, I invite my readers to travel with me and explore the most illuminating laws we are designed to master on the winding paths of life. These laws have expanded my perspectives and provided leverage to change the course of my life. I hope and trust they will do the same for you. By Dan Millman, Spring 1995. Introduction. Meeting with a mountain sage. We sit together, the mountain and I, until only the mountain remains. By Lai Po. Over the years, for health and enjoyment, I have often hiked into the wilderness near my home, up the narrow deer trails and down forested hillsides covered with oak, pine, and manzanita, wandering as impulse has taken me along the mountains leading to the coast. On one such occasion, some years ago, when my family was away for a long weekend, I rose before dawn and set out without a plan except to climb at leisure and explore a new country. The mountains, no more than a few thousand feet high, still had enough rises and dips to lose sight of civilization, evoking a sense of mystery and wonder, as I imagined myself 100 miles from anywhere. The rolling hills reflected the peaks and valleys of my own inner life. At that moment, I felt lost in a valley filled with shadows of doubt. My life had fallen into an orderly routine. So on this particular morning, I took with me into the hills an unspoken desire for excitement, for insight, for change. I was soon to discover the truth of saying, be careful what you ask for, you might get it. On this morning, low clouds had drifted in from the coast to settle over the wilderness, and after I had hiked up some distance, I found myself in a fold between the hills, enveloped in a fog so thick I could see no more than a few feet ahead. The air became cold and still, and I soon lost any sense of direction. Hearing a stream somewhere below, I kept it behind me, thinking I might climb up out of this shrouded valley. I soon came to a plateau, nestling beneath some ancient oaks, just above a steep drop-off. I had quite by accident, approached the plateau from the only possible angle, a narrow path between a wall of boulders. As I climbed around one of the massive stones, the fog disappeared to reveal a tiny hut standing before me. I approached and tapped lightly on the door. To my surprise, a resonant voice rang out with unexpected warmth, as if I were a long-awaited guest. "Do come in, traveler, come in." And so, wandering off the beaten path of my life, I opened the door and found the sage, sitting quietly, smiling up at me. For no reason I could discern. Goosebumps appeared on my arms. She sat with a feline grace, erect yet relaxed, balanced upon a cushion of leaves on the earthly floor. She was dressed in a green tunic. Maybe she thinks she's in Sherwood Forest, I thought. Her eyes held my attention, almost almond eyes, hazel-colored, illumined by rays of sunlight shining through a crack in the wall. Eyes set like jewels in a face of smooth olive skin, crowned by a short brown hair that gave no clear sign of her age, race, or culture. She seemed to be surrounded by a bright field of energy, which I assumed was a trick of the light. I began to feel oddly disoriented. I lost my bearings in all time as well as space. Was this a primeval rainforest, a hillside in Shakespeare's England, the Scottish Highlands, or a mountain abode of the Chinese immortals? "A long time since I've had a visitor," she said. "I'm glad you have come, for I have much to share, and I need your assistance in a mission of great importance." Was she lost? Did she need a guide? Puzzled but intrigued, I only said, "That sounds interesting." "I believe you'll find it so," she replied, "but first you'll need some training to prepare you." "Prepare me? If this is going to take more than a couple of hours, I'm not sure I have the time." "You have both less and more time than you imagine," she said. A strange response, judging her odd but harmless. I decided to play along and see where this led. She gestured for me to sit down. "Make yourself comfortable, traveler. I know why you have come, and that you have journeyed far." I was about to tell her that we were only an hour's hike from my home. Then I sensed she was referring not to my morning's walk, but to the long and winding path of my life. Abruptly, my mind was flooded with countless images, impressions of many different times and cultures. I had a strange sense that they were somehow connected with her. Then doubt entered my mind. Surely, I thought, she's just a reclusive woman, and I'm weaving an adventure where there is none. "Who are you?" I asked. "A reflection in a quiet pond," she said. "A ray of moonlight on a dark night. As young as the morning dew, and as old as the earth. All things are in me, and I am in all things." Beyond that, traveler, I cannot say, for my life is as mysterious as yours. The only difference between us is that I live in the embrace of a spirit to which you are just awakening. Speechless at first, I finally asked, "What should I call you? Do you have a name?" "A name?" She looked genuinely surprised. "I've had so many names, I hardly remember." "Well, what do you call yourself?" "I hardly ever call myself," she replied with a smile. And that was that. "Well, where do you come from?" "I venture forth from the past and the future. I live in the eternal present. We've lost and found one another time and time again. I've worked with you in an old gas station and walked with you through the Hawaiian rainforest. I've lived in great cities. I've sat in high courts under arched domes lined with silver and gold. I've known the comforts of hearth and home in the solitude of the mountain monastery. I've labored in dusty fields, known the risk of riches of high enterprise, and felt the cold lash of poverty. I've walked beneath jeweled canopies of stars, through shadows cast by moonlight. I've traveled the seas, won and lost fortunes, known health and illness, pleasure and pain. And I have found treasures that would dazzle your eyes. Luminescent silks, opals as large as fists, and sparkling gems of every color. But I would share with you the greatest treasure of all, a gift that grows in the given and never loses its luster." As she continued, her voice was the voice of all people, shifting like the wind, blowing through dusty hallways of history in places of radiant light. "Magic is alive in the world, traveler. I intend to share with you the secrets of alchemy." "Like turning lead into gold?" She smiled. "Playing with minerals is a mere chemist's trick. The alchemy of which I speak can transmute the baser elements of your life, the fears, confusion, concerns, and difficulties you encounter, into the gold of freedom and clarity, serenity and joy. The laws of spirit are the secrets I would share. You refer to spirit. Do you believe in God? Do you have a religion? I asked. She smiled. You don't have to believe in the sun to delight in the warmth of the morning light. It is simply obvious. That is how I know God. And as to my religion, she continued, gazing into the distance as if remembering times past, I've sat in the shining temples of the Israelites and under the glorious spires of the mosques of Islam. I've knelt in the great cathedrals and bathed in the light of Christendom. I've sat in the sweat lodges and passed the pipe, lived as a shaman on the African plains, meditated in Buddhist temples, and inhaled the sweet aroma of incense on the bank of the Ganges. And everywhere I found the same spirit in all religion, a divine will that transcends time, belief, and culture, revealing the universal laws that are the treasure of God. Can you say more about these laws? I asked. I intend to, she answered. Within the mystery of life, the universe operates according to the laws as real as the law of gravity. Woven into the fabric of existence, reflecting the primal intelligence of the universe, these laws of spirit direct the mechanics of the universe, the movements of the flowers reaching toward the sun, and waves thundering to the shore. They govern the movement of the earth, the cycle of seasons, and the forces of nature. To their songs, even the galaxies dance. With a puff of smoke and a strange whooshing sound, a small pile of branches and twigs and a circle of stones between us ignited, as if the flames had lit themselves. Merlin taught me that, she said, her eyes twinkling. Even in my present state of awe, a skeptical part of me thought, well, maybe it's Merlin and maybe it's lighter fluid. Then as we watched a thin plume of smoke drift up through the hut's thatched roof, she resumed speaking. The laws of spirit point to the innate order of intelligence of the universe. They transcend the concepts, customs, and beliefs. They form the basis of all human morality. Constant as the movement of the planets, they apply not only the mechanics of nature, but to every aspect of existence. They can guide you through the shallows and reefs of your life, the way the stars and compass guided ancient mariners of their course. Certain laws she had.
So I hope you enjoyed this video. So leave a comment, like, subscribe if you enjoyed it. If not, give me, some reasons why you didn't enjoy it or topics, your own opinion on the topic, whatever. Anyway, thanks for watching.